Broadcasting live from our Columbia, Maryland headquarters. They are founders of Hard Money Bankers, REI 360, and are international bestsellers with their book, The Whiteboard. Here are Jason Balin and Chris Haddon.
Hey everyone, Chris Haddon, Jason Balin, here at our office, hardmoneybankers.com and rei360.net, here with a cool show and a cool topic. Today we are talking about how to handle audience critique in your content marketing. Now, first things first, we've said it many times, you hear it everywhere, making company content, whether that's video or blog or emails or all of it, valuable content for your audience is a given, it's a must.
Yep.
You have to do it if you're looking to grow your business in 2016. But along with that comes some things you don't expect, some critiques, maybe some criticisms, other people's opinions. And there's two sides to it. It's kind of complicated. It's a little tough to deal with. That's why we wanted to address it. We've been talking about it recently. On one hand, you're absolutely encouraging the interaction with the audience. You want their comments, you want their shares, you want to hear from and interact with. That's the whole point, right? But on the other side of things, you might hear some things that you don't necessarily like. And this can come anywhere, like a response to a broadcast email. It can come from comments in social media, blog comments, YouTube comments are famous just for people trolling and cursing at you, here's the thing that we've been playing with. How much of it do you pay attention to because you want to interact, and how much do you ignore because it's just spam and trolls and stuff like that? And it's a tough thing, There's a big gray area in between what you do want to hear and legit critique and interaction, and somebody, just saying negative stuff, right?
Exactly, and I think we've learned a lot from putting out content to the world over the last 10 years, and we have some tips and tricks that we can share with everybody. Like Chris was saying, doing content is not, you have to do content. It doesn't matter what business you're in, you need to supply valuable content. You're the expert in that. It doesn't matter if, you're a mom and pop pizza shop and you need to, tell them about your grandmother's recipe of how, this place came of existence, or if you're a real estate investor, no matter what it is, you have to display content on a regular basis. And keep in mind, producing a lot of valuable content and getting a lot of eyeballs on that content, which is the important thing, the more people you have, you might get some negative criticism, right?
Yeah, you're bound to, in some way.
But that's okay. And I mean, from our experience, it's about 1%, less than 1% of the viewers of any content piece has commented in a negative way. And to us, it's just second nature of like, who cares, whatever. 99% of the people are very happy with the content. If 1% is the exception, so be it. But I do know that a lot of people that are trying to get into content marketing for their businesses to help grow their businesses, they have this challenge and it kills them, eats them up, and they don't know how to overcome it.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like people going into it, like, it's something to get used to, being on video or like putting out your thoughts and what you really feel in words or whatever it may be, and some of that's going to come, and there's certain things that are just obvious that you need to ignore. I remember a story back in the day when we first started email broadcasting to our database, and Jason's email was still the reply to email, and immediately after sending it out, I hear say from the office next door, he's like, "Great, this guy just called me a douchebag." And okay, so we got to change the reply to email, and that's stuff that you can ignore. But then recently, a video that went on YouTube, a real YouTube comment, where the guy gave some feedback on the show and said that we came off kind of arrogant, and that took me by surprise a little bit. I mean, we don't intend to do that. I don't think the guy was just like randomly spamming and trolling and being negative. I think he said that he enjoyed the content, but it didn't 100% like the way we came off. That's legit feedback.
Sure, it's constructive
That's
criticism.
Constructive criticism. So, there's people saying, I love the show, and people that are just cursing at you. Those are the extremes, but there's a big gray area. There's a big gray area of, do we internalize this? Do we pay attention to that? Do we want to read all that, or do we want to ignore it? Because there's probably there's a lot of positive things in there that, anyone making content or a writer, or same stuff with the book, like it's constructive criticism that, I don't know, it's something to deal with.
Yeah, I think the large content marketers, this is kind of the rule of thumb, and then we're going to try to mold this into a sensible way to approach it. But I think a lot of the large content marketers and a lot of internet marketers that are touching so many people, they just have no reply emails, and whatever. No matter what happens, they're not going to see the response to begin with. And then if you're a small mom and pop, or if you're a small one-man real estate investor and you only get a little bit of views, you're going to view everything.
Yeah,
everything, right? So we were thinking about this before the show because this has been a topic we've been talking about for a while, and it doesn't, for the most part, bother us all that much, just because it's just the nature of the business, right? Yeah. It's just like happy clients or happy customers that come into your store. 99% of them are going to be, satisfied, and 1% are not. So it's a similar situation. And I think the rule of thumb is this: you try not to let it overwhelm you, and you try not to, listen, if you're sending out an email blast for 50,000 people like we do sometimes, you can't just man that and just figure out every response. So there's somewhere in the middle, right? Maybe you have somebody in your office that kind of goes through some of these things and they just throw away all the nonsense and they're like, yeah, whatever. But anything that looks like it's a constructive criticism or a positive thing, bring it to you, because what else wouldn't you want to see than somebody being like, I love the show, I'm really happy you guys wrote this blog post, or right. I'm really happy that you're providing this content, there's a lot of value to me. And on the other end, if someone's like, listen, that's great that you guys are doing this, but there's not all that much value in this, maybe you guys should restructure it this way. That's kind of a con that you can turn into constructive criticism like we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd say the first step is just don't let it prevent you from putting out your content. You can't let it stop you. It's not that bad, trust me. Definitely don't let it prevent you from growing your business in the way that people are supposed to be growing their business in 2016. And then 2, limit the stuff you are and aren't going to see, right? Like in our case with the email database, a pretty good size, we just can't see that stuff. A lot of people will want to eliminate YouTube comments because it's just notorious for being a lot of negativity. So try to limit what is and is not going to come your way. And then think about your gray area. Think about the stuff that could be slightly positive, could be slightly negative, but could help you get better. And try to focus in on that a little bit. Because you're talking to your audience, you're encouraging them to interact, you want to hear from them. Yeah. And it's not always going to be, sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I mean, there's so much value that you're offering your clients through this. I mean, that's the one reason we love content marketing while we're doing this. I mean, we're not just jumping on camera related to some unknown topic and just talking about it, pretending we're professionals. Like this is what we do every day. And there's a lot of real estate investors out there, a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners that are getting a lot of value out of this, and because they're commenting and they're liking and they're sharing a lot of our stuff, we've been continuing to do this on a regular basis. We've added other content things as contributors in different places. We're creating different types of videos, different types of blogs, different types of articles. And I think it's great, and I think a lot of you out there as well, if you do have a small business, no matter what type of business that is, if you're a real estate investor, real estate agent, doesn't really matter what it is, provide quality content. You got to remember that you're the expert. Even though sometimes you don't think that you know all that much related to your trade or your industry, you really do. The general consumer, the general buyer of your product out there doesn't know this stuff. You're seriously providing a extreme service by helping them, giving them free content, and where they're going to go when they're ready to buy that product. They're going to go to you because you provided this great quality content for them, throughout the whole process. So cool. You got anything else to add, or
I think
we're good to go today?
I mean, we're getting pretty meta that we're going to ask for comments about people receiving comments, but that's where we are. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know your own experiences in putting out content marketing and audience interaction, how you deal with critique, how you filter stuff out so that you don't see it. Yeah, cool, right?
Cool. All right, well, as always, like, comment, share, review. Any questions that you have, like you said, we appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again, guys.
See you.